Ladies and gentlemen, today we're going to be looking at how to keyframe a video. So first off, I'm going to open up Premiere, and you should already have your project set up by now, but if you don't, I'm going to just quickly do that. All right, so the first thing that I'm going to do to set up this project, after you set up your project folder, is we're going to click on New Project, like you have probably already done. And for this one, for the project name, I'm going to type in Black History Project. And under this, I'm going to put Mr. Daniels. All right, just so that I can know where my stuff is. And then also, equally as important, for the project location, I'm going to click on choose location, and from there I want to choose my project files folder for this specific project. So I just drug it and dropped it over here anywhere, and then I can click on choose, and that'll be there, and create. All right, so I'm gonna quickly move through these steps, and again, there will be other tutorials where I'll go over this more. But first off, I'm gonna right click here to create a new bin, and it didn't do that the first time. So down here I can click on this thing that says new item, and I can go to, let's see it, nope, that bin is not on there. Well, I'm gonna right click again and click on new bin, and it finally creates it. So for this first one, I want to type in the word sequences. All right, and then without clicking it, I'm gonna hold down command and press the letter N. There we go, and I'm gonna name this sequence Black History Project, and then underscore Mr. Daniels, and I'm going to click OK, and that makes my sequence, which is what I'm going to be editing in. And then also I need my pictures, so I'm going to go to my content folder and drag and drop that down here in this project panel, and that imports that. All right, so here we go. So today we're going to be looking at how to create this keyframe video. So you're going to need a few things. All right, so first off, I'm going over here to this sequence, and I'm gonna go to my text tool, so I can click on the little T right here with these tools, or I can press T on my keyboard, and that brings up this little type tool and square. So I'm gonna click on the screen, and it not only creates this red text box, but also it has this little text clip down here for that. So the person that I have chosen to do mine on is, I know I made up some names. So this person is, boom. There we go. And actually, this is a person that I don't know, but just for the interest of time, I'm going to put Miss Millie. There we go. But of course, y'all will learn about who this person is. So Miss Millie James, right? Let's say that that's her name. So there we go. I just typed that title. So over here, I can click on this selection tool, which is a little arrow. And let's say that I want to put that further towards the middle. So there we go. So we have our title. So then also, I'm going to click back on that T and then click here. And I'm going to make my credits. Boom. So we got credits in bold, and also I'm gonna click and make another text box, and I'm gonna say Mr. Daniels, and then I'm gonna put some dots in between, and my job title, which is the editor. So now I'm gonna click back on this type tool, or this selection tool. I'll make credits bigger. Boom, put that in the middle, and then I got myself, and I'm gonna put that there. So there we go. So far I got my title, I got my credits, and so now you're gonna need at least 3 photos. So we're not keyframing all of these photos just yet, but for this keyframing project, I want you to demonstrate your understanding and possibly mastery of being able to keyframe these particular photos, which, let's see, okay, so all of those are different. There we go. So you'll be able to keyframe your photos as well as keyframe your credits and your title. All right, so with that said, I'm gonna highlight these just for visual purposes and make them a different color. Here we go, so that's purple. And we got this last one. And I'm gonna change that to mango, and then we got the pink on that one. So there we go. So now to bring these together, I'm gonna click in between this free space, hit delete, and this one, and hit delete. All right, so here we go. So now we're gonna get to the money. All right, so the first step is to put each of these items in the sequence. So again, my title, my 3 pictures, and then of course my credits. Now with this one, all of these pictures aren't as big as I would like, but they're not terrible. We're going to work with it. So with that said, right here, I'm going to first off click in this blank space and drag down and highlight everything. All right. So then on your keyboard, I know you can't see it, you want to hold down Command and press the letter D. All right. So what that just did is it put the default transition on each of these clips. All right. So after that's on there and that's important. It just saves steps. So then next what we're going to do is we're going to start keyframing. So with that said, we're going to keyframe this first with the title. So with this title over here, if we go over to effect controls, what I have is I have the vector motion. So you have the scale and position. So the scale, it can make something like this title larger, smaller. You can do the same thing with these pictures. All right, and also the position, you can move it left to right, and I'll undo that, or also you can move it up or down. So you can pretty much put it anywhere that you want to on this screen. All right, so with this, what I'm gonna do, and I just accidentally click some buttons. So here we go. So with this, I'm gonna keep it very simple. So with this title, I'm gonna just zoom in. All right, so to zoom in, I gotta change the scale. So with this, you want to think about a start point and an end point. All right. And again, the key to it is you need to know where you're going with this and how you want to move it. Do you want to zoom in? Do you want to zoom out? Do you want to pan? Do you want to tilt? All right. And we're going to look at all of those. All right. So with this zoom, first off, I'm going to click on this stopwatch by the scale. What that does is whatever this value is, it's going to record it. All right. If you don't click on this little stopwatch, it's not going to record or keep a record of these values that you're setting for your start point and your end point to make this move. Because think about it. In order for it to zoom in, it has to be a little smaller and then get a little bigger. In order for it to zoom out, it has to be a little bigger and then get a little smaller. So right here, I'm going to have my starting value at 207. Specifically for this, you don't want to be in the 200s for your pictures. But for this, I'm going to click on the scale. And right here, as you can see at this blue marker, it has this diamond or keyframe. So this keyframe's value is 207. All right. So now I'm going to drag that to the beginning. And then I'm going to change this value, which is going to make it larger. And you notice there's another keyframe. All right. So now with that one, I'm going to drag that to the very end of this clip. And now, as you can see, it zooms in. All right. So with this one, I'm going to do the opposite. I'm going to zoom in a little bit. With these pictures, I wouldn't go over like 120 or 120ish or 130% because that's when it starts to get a little grainy and lose the image quality. But from there, I'm going to click on the scale to record this first part of it at 125. So I'm going to drag that keyframe to the beginning, and then I'm going to decrease that value to 103 and drag this ending keyframe to the end of it. And so what you see is that it zooms out. All right, so then with this one, I'm going to pan. So that means that the image is moving from right to left or left to right. So with this, my first point, in order for it to start on the left and move to the right, is I drug it specifically. It started out here. I drug it specifically over here. All right. And I'm going to click on the stopwatch for position. All right. So we have that first position right here. I'm going to drag that keyframe to the beginning. And then now I'm going to drag it over a little bit on that side, and it makes another keyframe. And just as I did before with the other ones, I'm gonna drag that endpoint to the end. All right, and I'm gonna do the same thing with this one. I'm gonna go, let me see, I'm gonna go up here. All right, and so I'm gonna set that one, and then after that being my first one, I'm going to drag it down. All right, and that's gonna be my second one. All right, so last but not least for this, I'm gonna do the same thing kind of. I'm gonna just have a simple zoom in. So with this, I'm gonna keep it at 100 to start, and then we notice that the credits part, it goes up a little bit. So with that, I'm gonna keyframe the position as well because I want it to go down as it zooms in. So I like that initial one. So I clicked on the stopwatch, and I'm gonna drag that to the beginning. But at this point, I don't want credits that high. I want it to stay about right there. All right, and it's made that last keyframe. So then from there, I'm gonna highlight these two keyframes, and I'm gonna move it all the way to the end. And so this is the final product. So we have a zoom in, some motion there. We got a zoom out right there. We got this pan right here. We got this tilt, and then we got another simple zoom in. Now, something that I haven't shown you yet that you can do is if I drag one more image over, what you can do is over here you got the rotation. All right, so the rotation, oops, and I did that on the wrong one. So I'm gonna click my clip first, and the rotation, what I can do is I can move this around. All right, don't get crazy with it, but I can do that. So with this, it's that same process. Think about where you want to start and where you want to end. So I'm gonna click on this stopwatch. It makes my first keyframe, and from here, I want it to be a little off balance. Okay, so it's at -2%. So then what I'm gonna do is I'm going to set my ending position to that, just for example purposes. All right, and so then what it does is, again, it has this rotation. So I'm not going to include that in this one, but again, just to sum everything up, what you need in this keyframe video is you need your title. You need at least 3 pictures. That's all I want for this because I want you to show that you know how to keyframe. And then you need your credits at the end. All right, and that is it. So if you have any questions, let me know. But that is how to complete the keyframe video.